Hi, you guys. Okay, Snowfall, season 5, episode 6, Iliad, part 2. Okay, you guys, this Tiger King episode is irking the hell out of me because it's just so unnecessary. But anyway, Franklin and Gustavo is still locked in a cage, and at this point, Franklin is freaking out. He's screaming and yelling. And I thought they were in a basement, but they're outside. And you mean to tell me all this yelling he's doing, that tiger roaring, no one hears this, no neighbors hears this? It's like your neighbor's like 200 feet away. So I don't understand this. Anyway, Franklin is freaking out and Gustavo remains calm. He's like, prepare yourself, save your energy. Gustavo takes off his belt and he ties it around the gate, putting extra security on the gate that separates them from the tiger. Bob Barker comes in finally, and Franklin is trying to fast talk his way out of this. So Bob Barker does not give a damn about what Franklin has to say. He tells the tiger like he got some good treats for him. He goes to wind up the cage and it's locked because it's stuck because Gustavo put that extra security lock on there with his belt. So Bob, he's climbing up the cage and he's trying to open it from the top of the cage. Gustavo takes in with his legs. He kicks the cage, causing Bob's leg to fall in the opening of the tiger's cage. That tiger jumped up there and ripped Bob's leg off. Okay, so he's gnawing on that. And Gustavo tells Franklin, like, look, I'm going to lift up this cage. You're going to have to grab those keys. And that's what they do. And that's how they are let out. Now, they're free of that dumb situation and they go into a dumber situation. Now they have to find a way out of here. So their plan is to hijack a car. Here comes a car rolling up the street. But hold up, these are the gang members. So they hides out. 2 seconds later, they hear another car and they just jump out there like you're not even going to peep the scene and make sure it's not the same car. And sure enough, it was the gangbangers. And mind you, these are the same bangers from earlier today. Switchblade Banger is with them, so he told them everything about the money situation and they want to know where is the money. They told the bangers that they were robbed and they wind up taking them back to a barbershop. So this headbanger, you can tell he's the leader. He's beating it out of Gustavo and Franklin. Where's the money? They tell him, they stick to the story that they've been robbed. Someone comes through with lunch. So he tells them, when I come back from a lunch break, one of y'all better be talking. So they goes back to the lunch break and Franklin tells Gustavo, like, look, I'm supposed to be having a sonogram tomorrow. And Gustavo asks Franklin, did you pick out a name? And Franklin said, no, we haven't even talked about it yet. And just that fast, as soon as he was saying that, the headbanger, he comes back out like, I'm finished now. So what's up? Gustavo noticed a poster of a picture of Mexico, and Gustavo was like, look, we're basically cousins. What's up? He's trying to talk his way out of that. And Headbanger is like, look, that poster belongs to a girl that belongs here. We're not the same. Franklin tells Headbanger, look, the money is at the place that you picked us up at. I don't know the number. I can show you though. Just give us our word that once you get the money that you'll let us go. So Headbanger's like, cool, you're going to show us where the money is. And your friend right here is going to stay here with us for security. Down at Louis' bar, Leon and Dion comes in with their gun pointing to Ronnie and Trick's head. The ladies are very upset that they're brought in this way, rightfully so. Dion being all aggressive, calling her bitches, telling her to sit the fuck down, or she's going to eat this, talking about the bullets. Leon asked Jerome, did he hear from Peaches yet? And still no one has heard from Peaches. So Trick said, well, damn, if y'all looking for Peaches, why are we here? And someone mentioned, well, yeah, that is true. If they took the money, they would have been long gone. Jerome said, well, shit, maybe they long gone Peaches already. Trix get very upset because Dion has the gun pointed at her face and she grabs the gun and she tells him, get the shit out of her face. And Sissy gets upset and she's like, look, stop all this shit. Y'all supposed to be out looking for my son. Leon agrees and he tells them that it's better that they stick together. There's no need to be fighting one another right now. Leon and Jerome decides they're going to go out and try to search for Franklin. Lloyd tells them, cool, page her every hour. So while they're out, Sissy and Veronique gets to talking, and Sissy brought up how Veronique put on that sympathy card when the police was with them earlier. And here we learned that Veronique's mother is a con woman. And house, most of the time, she would include Veronique in her scams. Sissy, she was taken back by this news. And she said, well, how does that work? How does a mother put her daughter in being a con artist? And we find out that after Veronique's father passed away, her mother took her to the carnival. And that's how she learned all her little tricky ways. Not only is her mother a con artist, but she's one of those international con artists. And Veronique also tells us that we find out that she spent some time in Paris being a con artist. And she learned French because she forged documents in French. Veronique says she don't know where her mother could be. And she also mentions that she tried to heal herself from her past. Or maybe she was just trying to run away from her past, she tells Sissy. I don't know. I have I'm kind of on a fence about Veronique. I think that if she had any involvement with this, that she wouldn't be honest about her past. At this point, I just don't think a professional con artist would be so sloppy. But I still don't trust Veronique. Okay, back over to Franklin. Now, Franklin, hair banger, switchblade banger, and another banger all take a car ride over to Tiger King's house. They leave switchblade banger in the car, and they take Franklin on back. So Franklin said the money is over there in that garage. So they see the cage, and as they get closer, they see Bob Barker over there dead. So Headbanger, he points out his gun. He's like, what the fuck is going on? All of a sudden, the tiger came leaping on the other dude, the other banger dude. And the tiger is just feasting on him at this point. So Headbanger, he's focusing on the tiger, and Franklin bangs him over the head, knocking him to the ground. His gun falls out his hand, and Franklin takes his gun, hit him over the head so the gun won't go off, alerting the other switchblade banger. Franklin gets back to the car and tells Switchblade Banger he's pointing the gun to his head, telling him to get in the trunk. Back at the bar, Louis comes in with good news. Franklin got in contact with Jerome, and Jerome and Leon is going to go over and pick him up. Ronnie and Trix is anxious to get out. They've been held hostage there under Dion's gun. They're just really concerned about getting home to their baby to relieve their babysitter. Lloyd tells them, look, you need to extend that babysitter because we're going into overtime. We need to make some phone calls and find out who's behind this shit. And Louis, she goes to do the same. Now, Sissy, she tells Veronique, look, baby, I'm Franklin's mother and I love my son unconditionally, right or wrong. Sissy goes on to say to Veronique, protecting Franklin sometimes means telling him things that he don't want to hear. And I'm going to tell you this. Your baby almost lost his life today. And whether it be gangsters or the government to blame, it will happen again. That's this life, baby. Jerome and Leon finally meets up with Franklin, and Franklin asks them, has they heard from Peaches? And Jerome is like, just get in the car. So, you know that Switchblade Banger is still in the back seat. Franklin, well, he's in the trunk. And Franklin goes to the trunk and he puts the keys in the trunk and he tells him, like, you're clever, right? Find your way out of this. So I thought that was interesting. Franklin, Leon, and Jerome, they make it back to the barbershop because, remember, they got to pick up Oso. And I mean, Jerome and Leon, they both guarded their way up in that motherfucker, knocking the guy straight out that answered the door. They had the gun on the other person. Franklin passes Oso the gun and tells him, like, look, you do whatever you want to with them. And Oso was like, look, let's just go home. And that is very interesting to me. And I'm thinking they probably, both Oso and Franklin, they had a long ass unfortunate events that happened to them today. They didn't ask for this. It just happened to them. And both of them is at a point where they're becoming family men. And I guess they said, look, if we can walk out of this, it's just time to let this shit go for tonight. Franklin and Oso were talking, and Franklin was just venting to him, saying like, damn, it was 3 coordinated attacks on me and I didn't see any of them coming. And Oso tells him, yeah, people hide who they are, but sooner or later it will show. He tells Franklin, like, I didn't think that you were going to come back. He tells Franklin he don't trust people. And Franklin say, well, you know what? I don't blame you. Just like I thought I couldn't trust you after that night you and Teddy spied on me. So Oso is like, what are you talking about? He's like, that night of the drop. So Franklin is just realizing that Oso really didn't have anything to do with Teddy spying on him. I think here on out, Oso and Franklin will make a bond. They always had a good rapport with one another, but I think this will take it to a whole nother level. This may be even putting them together to take Teddy the fuck out. Because let's be honest, Teddy don't give a damn about Oso or Franklin. He never had to be on Oso so much because Oso is just a chill guy. He don't really get into much things as Franklin do. Franklin don't get into much things either, but Franklin and Oso's circumstances are way different. Jerome and Leon retrieves the money from under the porch, and on their way out of there, they runs into the tiger walking across the street. Finally, they have returned safely back at the bar. Also, girl Zamaria, I think that's her name, she gets down to the bar and she's like happy to see him, and then she hits him in the chest, talking about that she thought he left her alone with them kids. She do not want to raise some kids by herself. I don't blame her. After Gustavo and his girl leave, Franklin is asking about Peaches. Still no one has heard from Peaches. So Franklin tells Veronique that he has to go handle some things. And Sissy is like, I know you're not leaving again. Franklin said, you ain't know? I gotta go and check up on some things. Veronique, she does not want to wait there. She want to go home. And Franklin offers to get Dion to drive her home. She said no. She insists on driving herself home. She said she just want to ride in peace. Today's been too much already. Franklin, he doesn't put up a fight. He says, okay, cool. Just tells her for her to page him when she gets home and that he'll be home shortly. Now, I thought that was interesting. After all of the things happened today, Franklin allowed her to go home by herself. Franklin tells everyone that he has to go around and find out who did this because this has to end tonight. Since Peaches is MIA, the only way Franklin can for sure suspect Peaches' involvement is to check the stash where he keeps his money. They get to it and it's cleared the fuck out. And the only other person that knew about it was Peaches. Jerome is really taken back. He's like, for him to come at Sissy, Veronique, and Louie, ain't no way. Franklin said, that was almost $5 million. Like, whatever. They'll kill your mama for that. When Leon asked Jerome where could Peaches be laying up at, did he know of anybody, Jerome snapped at him and said, how the fuck would I know? We haven't been that tight in years. So that person that Jerome used to know may have changed. And we always know what people say that, oh, this person changed when they got money. And really it was the people around you. Peaches has always been loyal. It's kind of hard for me to believe that he did this. But maybe Peaches was peeping shit out for years. And he is one of the people that Franklin depends on the most. So I don't know how Franklin pays him, but he should be one of the top paid people. And no, that does not give him a reason to rob Franklin blind. No, Peaches got to go if he did this, but it's still in my heart that he did not do this. Lloyd mentions that if Peaches did do this, it wasn't off an impulse. And more than likely, he didn't stick around. And Leon said yes, and he didn't do it by himself. Leon suggested that they look into the people that hit them earlier, and that should lead them back to Peaches. They all call it a night, and when Franklin returns home, Veronique is gone with a dead John letter left on the counter. Teddy finally risen. Parissa, she mentions to Teddy that she read up on an article about the CIA officer that brought drugs to America to fund the Contras. Now she wants $500K instead of the $250 that she originally asked for nursing Teddy back to health. Tells Teddy, yep, that when I found those 300 kilos, my mind changed. Now, I've been saying Parissa is a nut, but maybe this life here in America is driving her nuts. Here she is, a doctor who isn't allowed to practice and now has to be reduced down to a bedpan changer. This may be driving her nuts. She tells Teddy that last night was the best night she had in years. Besides the $500,000, that's what she wants, fun. She wants to have fun with Teddy. Maybe she'll be a good asset to Teddy. You nursed him back to health and cared for him the entire time. I mean, she could have did anything to him. I thought she was going to take the drugs and run. It's the next morning and Franklin goes down to see Ivy about protection for Veronique. Ivy tells him that he has some professionals, some good ones for him. And this is what Veronique was just telling Franklin from the beginning. You can't have no ex-vet and no stripper hoes as your security. Not only did Ivy have him on as security, but Ivy dropped some jewels on Franklin. Yes, he did. The type of jewels that money can't buy. Ivy tells Franklin, you know what? I never married and I never had kids. I'm a soldier through and through. I eat, sleep, and breathe battle. Unapologetically, that's me. I know who I am. Tells Franklin, you're not like me. The first time I ever laid my eyes on you, I said you can do anything. And that's the biggest curse a man can have. Unlike me, you have the choice to be a teacher, businessman, rabbi, drug dealer. You can do it all. Me, I go from war to war, and you have the war inside of you. Ivy is correct. Franklin has all the potential. He's intelligent and he's impressionable. Franklin is struggling internally as this game turns him into a monster. Like on this retaliation, it's no talking, it's no trying to work it out like he did all them games he did between Scully and Manboy. None of that. It's time for Franklin to go to war. But when you have those internal struggles, it's always going to make you try to rationalize with irrational people. That's enough of that, Franklin. Franklin makes it over to where Veronique is getting a sonogram done at, which she was about to start without him. He tells her that he's hiring better security, and she's like, that's cool and all, but did you find out who did this? We know that Franklin didn't. He tells Franklin that she doesn't blame him. She knew who Franklin was when she met him. She just fooled herself thinking that it wouldn't affect her. She makes it known to Franklin, you can't protect me. What's going to happen when the CIA is done with you? And Franklin's like, what is all this CIA talk? And because Veronique feels as though Franklin can't protect her, she says she's going to put some distance in between them. Distance? What the fuck that means? Franklin asks. She said, well, we'll only see each other at work for right now, and that's about it. I don't know, y'all. I can kind of sympathize with what Veronique is saying. She's only a victim of her past, meaning that even though she ran away from that situation, she really has no one else but her mother to remind her of her morals and a positive way to go. And we know that Veronique's mom herself is a con artist, so that's no positivity. Veronique running from this, she just ran into a deeper situation where she thought she had control over it, and she can't control it. This is bigger than her. I don't know. I don't trust Veronique. I just don't trust her. Jerome and Lloyd, they meet up with one of their customers, but Jerome is already amped up because of this whole Peaches cross them situation, and he just he's flabbergasted by this. Lloyd tells him, look, don't put this all on you. Franklin knew him long enough to not see this coming himself. So that customer Trey Peoples pulls up, and Lloyd asks them, did they hear who may have possibly have anything to do with what happened to them yesterday? She tells them that, look, I'm just asking y'all to keep y'all ear to the ground. Somebody gonna be talking. So the other dude is like, yeah, all right, but what's up with that drop though? So Jerome, he's like, you heard what she said, right? Dude said, look, I just said, all right, but Trey want to know about that drop though. So Jerome said, you know what? Y'all going to get the drop when I say y'all get the drop. How about that? And so the dude is like, how about y'all be a little bit more respectful and people won't be coming after y'all? Oh my goodness. Jerome knocks the dude to the ground. The other dude tried to jump in it and Louis pulls the gun out on him. Back the fuck up. Jerome is beating the boy to a bloody pulp. He beats him so much so that Jerome hurts his hand on his boy's face. Jerome snapped. And as he come back to, gets up off the boy, Lloyd's like, pick your boy up, pick your boy up. Jerome gets back in the car. He says, teach your man how to squabble. This is going to make for a good war because Jerome, they done took him there. They took him there. Oh, he is turning into a monster. Back at Lloyd's bar, the stripper host, they found out, they've been asking around and they found out some information. They said their problem is bigger than Peaches. It's about some OG guy named Kane. So everybody's like, Kane? Who is Kane? Well, Kane is Kevin's brother. And they're like, damn, he home already? Well, Franklin and Leon goes to see him on a, I guess this was Kane's son football game, little flag football. So we know nothing is going to go down here right now. Kane is going down memory lane, and it gets to where he gives props to Sissy on always trying to raise Franklin right. So Franklin said, you know you shot at her, right? And Kane said, well, technically I didn't. So Franklin gets to the point, he asks Kane, so did Peaches get at you or did you get at him? Kane, he continues to try to sun Franklin, telling him about Franklin paid no attention to what the game he used to try to school them on about being a man. Well, Franklin tells him, yes, I did. That's why I'm here instead of hitting you and your peoples up. At this point, Kane says what's really good. He said when he was in jail, he found out that his little cousin was working for Franklin. And then when his cousin was killed, he wasn't allowed to come to the funeral. Then his brother Kevin was killed. And he could attend the funeral this time, but he didn't because he was so angry. He didn't want anything to provoke him into getting more time on his sentence. So he just set that one out. So Franklin, he said, you don't know what happened. And Kane said, no, you trying to tell me that you didn't kill my brother? I got that wrong, Frankie? Show some respect. Say it to my face. Franklin said, I was in prison. If you had a problem, you should have came and spoken to me. Now, at this point, Kane thinks that Franklin is trying to son him. So now we're doing this song and dance of these two people having egos. We know that Franklin, he has a godlike complex, so he definitely is not going to bow down to Kane. Kane is like, listen to Gucci shoes. Leon, you better get your mans trying to tell me what the fuck I should have done. Leon tells Kane, look, we just trying to make it right. Kane tells them, well, unfortunately, you just can't make this right. He apologized for Sissy getting caught up in it and whoever else that was innocent. But he promises that the next time it will be right. Ain't no missing. Here Franklin go with the war within, trying to rationalize with irrational people, giving him one chance to do things different. Kane's tells him, of course you can get at me, but does it look like I'm hiding? He tells them, y'all boys run along, and I'll think of y'all when I pour some out on Kevin's grave. And that's where the shit ends for this episode. And this last part makes a good brew for a good war next episode. I'm not trying to hear nothing from Franklin but war. He better come with his army fatigue on next episode. I don't know. I think Veronique, he will lose Veronique in this war. I'm kind of thinking that she is the woman for him and that he's going to lose her. And what about Peaches? Do y'all think Peaches did this? I don't. I don't think Peaches had anything to do with this. But it won't be surprising if he did. And Jerome is going to handle Peaches personally, in my opinion, if he did this. But that's it for this week, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, tell a friend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.